So I rediscovered the other day a thing I learned when I was living out on my own for the first time with roommates, and that is if you mix any kind of alcohol, specifically vodka, like really bad vodka, with the super sugary like iced tea mix, like generic brand if possible. If you mix it with that iced tea,
concentrate powder.
Yep, just the powdered iced tea mix, just tastes like iced tea. That's the most dangerous thing in the world. It's fantastic in the summertime. Just tastes like iced tea, and then suddenly it's like, oh, no, that's right, the vodka.
I do the same thing all the time. It's the same thing if you mix whiskey with tea. It's just like, oh, this is good, oh, this is good. Oh, there's all of the whiskey. Yep. Oh, no. Yep.
I'm telling you, that sugary iced tea, it does something where it can hide anything. You can put Everclear in there. We used to make up like one of those like big like 2-gallon like things that you make these iced teas in, with the rotating top with like the pour spout and the handle. We had a big 2-gallon one, and we would pour like Everclear or like vodka or something in there, and then we would just make up like the iced tea in this jug and just have it sitting in the fridge.
Ben and I live in Pennsylvania, which is the branded iced tea capital of the world. I drink non-caffeinated iced tea, which is an alternative we have out here. It's worse if you put alcohol in that because it's so heavy. It's not sweet. It's like non-caffeinated iced tea has like the same consistency as a brandy. It doesn't taste like brandy, but it has that like heaviness to it, and it has almost that like hint of raspberry in a weird way. If you put alcohol in that, it's almost worse than put it in sugary iced tea. That's kind of my drink of choice usually if I'm drinking on the show, and you can tell in some of my recording it's like, oh no, that snuck up on me. Oh. Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, Attack of the Clones. Ben, how was your watch?
They finally did it.
They finally did it?
Finally did it. The clones finally attacked.
Christ. You mean they didn't the last 11 times we watched this movie?
What do you mean? I've never seen this movie before in my life.
Who hit you in the head?
Life.
Did you finally meet Major Merchandise? Has it happened finally? Has he assaulted you with large notebooks like he has me and Chris?
Me and
Was it Sir Alec Guinness?
I don't think we're allowed to talk about this legally.
Yeah,
I don't think we're allowed to.
We're not legally allowed to say that. You're right. We aren't. We definitely aren't.
Or documents about disparaging remarks.
Chris, how was your watch?
Oh, it sucked. Fucking sucked. Fuck this movie. The bit is dead. I hate this movie.
The bit is dead.
The bit's been dead a long
This movie
time.
Fucking sucks. Yeah, but every couple episodes, Ben will try to fucking like, oh,
I'll
no,
just
you mean
bring
your
it
favorite?
Back up.
You mean your favorite movie? No, it's not my favorite movie. This movie fucking sucks.
We're never gonna let you live it down.
I don't ever want to watch this movie again, but I'm gonna watch it again in 9 weeks. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I watched it directly after the last episode of Kenobi, which in our time came out. The episode we recorded for it came out today. So we just finished that, and we just recorded that Thursday, and that came out for y'all today. And I'll tell you what, coming off of the last episode of Kenobi and going right into Attack of the Clones was, whew!
An experience, right?
An experience. And it's like, I was feeling kind of high too. I was even thinking about playing Knights of the Old Republic, and I might still do that because I was like, I don't mind Star Wars. Let's play Knights of the Old Republic before I never want to touch a Star Wars thing again. I'll play it one last time. And then I watched Attack of the Clones. That's not an open statement. It might as well just have a period after.
Attack of the Clones.
And then I watched Attack of the Clones.
Jay, I feel like Knights of the Old Republic is a perfect thing for you right now because it's Star Wars, but it has literally no discernible connection to any of these movies. Like any of the, prequels or the OT. There's no connection whatsoever.
I don't know. There's only one way to find out. Because I think if it's because I actually last rotation on this episode, I believe, got really mad at a journalist for saying what the hell is Tales of the Jedi when Tales of the Jedi got announced. Spoilers, it turned out that wasn't actually going to be Tales of the Jedi, because I love Tales of the Jedi so much. I think the only like fandom things that I truly have left in myself is all shit that happens like 3,900 BBY and before that. That's the stuff that for some reason my brain can like disconnect from everything else. But I also just don't want to spend enough time on fucking Star Wars. I edited 3 podcasts this week. I watched Kenobi, I watched Attack of the Clones, and I finished Kenobi, and that episode's already out. We loved it. When I was finished with it, I'm like, that was fantastic. Glad I don't have to watch it every week now. It's like, I might still play Knights of the Old Republic, but I might not, and it just is what it is. I'm not going to be actively consuming Star Wars content probably again, ever, unless it's for the podcast.
Finally did it for Jay. Jay finally did what she set out to do. She killed the sacred cow.
I think that cow's been dead for a while now.
If we didn't get rid of the cow yet, I've just been kicking it for a few rotations. It's well rotted.
Ben, question for you, because you'd be the person that I would think would have an answer to this, because I stopped following this shit a long time ago. Has any of the High Republic stuff come out yet? Like properly?
Yes.
Yeah,
I knew like one of the books came out finally, but like how much more of that has?
First book on my audiobook thing, and the second book I started but never got all the way through.
Aren't they
not for a lack of interest, just kind of like had other shit pop up.
Aren't they like on like the second big wave of releases for that now? Because I know I've seen like a renewed push of those in the last couple months.
Honestly, I've lost all track of what's going on with the High Republic.
Oh, okay. Well, that was going to be my next question, because we haven't talked about it in a while, but I know in the early days of the podcast when that first got announced, we had kind of touched on it a couple of times, at least as something like none of us were particularly looking forward to, I don't think.
I was interested, but even at that point, I was kind of like, I don't want to do Star Wars. And I read that first issue of the comic, and then nothing else.
Oh, geez. I ain't even looked at the comics for it yet, to be honest.
I was actually the one that expressed interest in that Acolyte show that Disney Plus is supposed to / maybe not doing anymore.
Yeah.
But I probably still won't watch it. I'm actually interested in Andor. Not going to watch it.
Is Acolyte possibly canceled?
It's really up in the air right now, apparently.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
They had it. If I remember correctly, and don't quote me, this is one of the things that maybe future Jay will come in and correct me, but if I remember correctly, it had a showrunner, and then that showrunner backed out over creative differences, and now it's just kind of in the air.
Hi, Jay, SWEWF offices. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Same showrunner, still filming, or at least it's supposed to film sometime this summer. No news if it has yet, but things seem to be going the exact same way. And speaking of Kotar, there might be some appearances, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on a later episode, but that's that. I was wrong.
Oh,
didn't Star Wars Visions get greenlit for a second season?
I heard a rumor about that. I didn't see anything substantiating it. But I've also been out of the loop on Star Wars projects lately, so.
Well, if I remember correctly, the way I just heard that being talked about with what are we're talking about Visions, right?
Yeah.
We're just talking about Disney stuff in general, but yeah, Visions.
Well, the way I had heard Visions talked about, and it could have just been a speculatory article, but I thought I read something that it's coming back for sure. They want to handle it moving forward similarly to the way Marvel's handling the What If series.
Yeah.
But it may not be specifically like anime heavy like the first season of Visions was. It may just be animated shorts kind of in general, like one-offs, not necessarily anime centric. I don't know how correct that is. I don't know if that's actually true. That could have just been speculation.
I hope not. I hope it kind of remains to like a more Eastern style, because like that's kind of what I loved about it. Is like these are a lot of creators who typically don't get to have their hands in the kitchen when it comes to Star Wars.
Halo did the same thing years ago.
Yeah, Halo Legends.
Halo Legends. I never watched that show, but if I wasn't doing this podcast, I probably would have. I know that some people were like, yeah, the first episode was great, and the rest weren't so much, and maybe they should have saved that for last. People weren't going to keep watching the show if the first one wasn't great. So it's kind of like, all right, the first episode is great, the rest are okay. At least they got you in the door. So I don't know.
So Vision season 2 was made, or season 1 was made by multiple different Japanese anime developers. Season 2 or volume 2 will be spread kind of and branched out into multiple cultural influences.
Okay.
India. So it's still going to be like a very specific cultural style influence, but not.
India sounds really interesting.
India could be cool. Depending on how they do Spain, that could be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty fucking Irish. I don't really know what you do with Irish, but you know.
I feel like you could tie it into some pretty interesting folklore, but I think India is the one that interests me the most. So Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
No.
I more or less had to watch this fucking movie almost 3 times.
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
Not
Why
fully.
is this the movie
Not
that this
fully 3 times, but I fell asleep watching this movie twice.
It is bad and long.
This week, I fell asleep twice trying to get through this goddamn movie.
Because it's terrible and boring and awful.
And I hate falling asleep during, like, watching a movie or reading a book or something, because your memory gets so fucking weird. You're like, oh, I know where I left off, and you start watching it, and you're like, wait, no, I was way past this. And you start, like, skipping forward, and you're trying to figure out where you remember or not. And when you watch the movie once every 9 weeks, that gets once every 9 weeks, that gets like exponentially more difficult. So you're like, wait, okay, I watched this, but did I watch this last time I watched this, or did I watch this when I just watched this?
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. It
was dreadful.
Watching especially this movie is just like sitting. I feel like I'm the person hooked up to a chair in Clockwork Orange when I watch this movie. Yeah. Except I have the ability to close my eyes and I have to fight not doing it all the time. It's just like it's moving pictures. They're in
moving pictures.
I'm trying to decide because like next rotation for me at least is going to be a lot easier. My wife has been on maternity leave for a while, but she's going back to work. So I'll be having a little bit more free time in the mornings, getting up a lot earlier and everything. And I'm trying to decide if I want to, this coming rotation, finally do what I've been threatening to do for a long time now and watch these movies in like Spanish.
Fuck yeah, do it. That's a great idea.
I don't know what that's going to add to the podcast, but you know, it'll be
I feel like if I were to do that, if we all had to pick a language to watch it in, what would it be? Because I feel like I would choose Japanese because I feel like
that's where I'm struggling because like I kind of speak Spanish, so that's kind of why that was the first one that I was like, yeah, I'll watch it in Spanish. You know, I can follow it for the most part, but like, is it more fun if I do a language that I don't speak?
I think
a language you absolutely don't know.
Yeah, like I almost feel like I should do like Japanese or like I don't know, fucking Disney Plus has a lot of options for like alternative languages for these movies. So
are they dubbed in that language or is it just subtitles?
I think it's dubbed, just I think.
it's dubbed in that language.
Yeah.
And then it's just the same subtitles you would see in English. Like, it's not dubbed and then resubbed. It's just dubbed, and if you have the English up, it's still the same English subtitles. We also, at some point, have to do a rotation where we watch it in the release order. That's like a big one that we should probably do at some point.
Can I suggest something that potentially I should suggest off camera, but it's way funnier if I do it now?
Yeah, I mean, I can always put it out.
I had this fucking nightmare of an idea for some reason while we were recording the Kenobi episode. God, there's a lot of language options. Sorry, I popped in real quick to see how many audio options there were for Phantom Menace. And Jesus Christ, there's a lot of them. And it's a stupid idea, and we could never do it because it would basically be 9 full rotations in a row of hell. But
what?
I literally had the idea of like, well, why don't we do a rotation where we watch, like, for example, The Phantom Menace just 9 weeks in a row, and then I don't Attack of the Clones 9 weeks in a row, and then Revenge of the Sith 9 weeks in a row.
I don't mind this idea, but there's no goddamn way in hell that we're gonna do that 9 rotations in a row. I feel like maybe we pick a rotation, and then 10 rotations after that we watch the next movie, and then we do it like that. Because there's no goddamn way. There's no fucking way in hell.
Well, that would be, and that's kind of what I was thinking about. Is
also, the labeling would be really weird.
After I thought of this nightmare of an idea, I was like, yeah, no. After completing that hell circuit, we'd be done. We couldn't continue because we would be so fried.
Broken.
We would be so broken.
Every once in a while, because there's 8 weeks between each episode, we're able to get like a talking point out of these episodes. If we watch each of them 9 times in a row, there's no goddamn way in hell we would ever be able to talk about anything specific about these movies ever a fucking
Can you imagine having to watch this movie 9 times in a row, 9 weeks in a row?
I would rather shoot myself in the head.
Same.
I this provides me with the prospect of watching the pod race for 9 straight weeks. And
you walked right into that one.
And yeah, I don't think anything would make my soul happier.
Really?
Actually, this would be the thing that breaks him of the pod race, I think. It's a good strategy. This is a decent strategy.
Jay, totally. I would totally break of the pod race. Let's definitely do this so I never talk about the pod race ever again.
This is the nuclear option because he's making jokes, but I know him. I know him. This is a good nuclear option. So we keep avoiding it. Attack of the Clones, the movie that we didn't want to watch.
Jay, can I get real with you for a second?
What?
I don't want to talk about this fucking
movie. We're 32 minutes into the recording on our end. We gotta talk about it at least a little bit. Listen, I have a very low standard for the amount that we can talk about a movie. And if we talk a little bit about Star Wars, but we haven't talked about one point. We have not talked about one point yet. Not
I don't think
one.
I have any points to talk about. I mean, what haven't we said about this movie?
I have points. I have notes.
Okay.
I'm still the person that is somehow getting shit out of this.
Hey, you know what I want to talk about? And I don't know if we even talked about this on this stupid podcast. What the fuck is up with the weird Padawan haircuts? What's up with Anakin's stupid fucking haircut in this movie and Obi-Wan's stupid fucking haircut in the last movie? What's the deal with that? Why? Why is that a thing?
I hesitate to criticize it because there's a ton of cultural haircut styles that aren't that wildly, foreign to this idea.
It's, every goddamn time I watch this movie, I'm like, why'd they do this to him?
I don't know.
I got nothing. I'm going to be real.
Yeah, it's just I get it. There's a ton of cultures that have, specific, learning process, hairstyles or tattoos or things like that. So I don't really have. It's just the Jedi thing. It's a part of their, and in their case specifically, not in general, in their case specifically, a cult-like process. That's what it is. It's a cult, and therefore...
It's a part of the indoctrination.
That's why everybody wears very specific fucking Jedi robes, and the only time they break from that is when they're at war.
The Jedi kind of suck. I don't know if I don't know if we've.
I don't know if we've gone over this
if we've
before.
talked about that, but
we've never gone over this before.
The Jedi kind of suck. It's just the thing I was thinking about this week.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, this is fresh. I really feel like this is a fresh comment on Star Wars that no one has ever said before, ever.
Especially
literally.
not us.
Especially not us. We've never once brought up how much the Jedi suck.
It still kills me how surprised the Jedi are when Order 66 happens. Because with all the context that Clone Wars gives us,
yeah,
they literally had all the puzzle pieces at the end and just refused to put them together.
Yeah. I didn't say this on the Kenobi episode, and I've been kicking myself for it ever since. Big missed opportunity not to have Vader say, "I have the high ground." Massive missed opportunity. They should have done it. I don't care how cheesy it would have been. They should have had Vader say, "I have the high ground."
People are memeing on that part of the fight so hard, and I love it.
I put that in our I put that meme in our like public Discord today because it's my favorite goddamn thing ever. It's Vader. It's lady talking to Vader, and she's like, what did you learn about the high ground, and where did you make a mistake? I had the high ground.
Yeah.
And what did you do? I threw the high ground at Kenobi. He had the high ground.
It's a very good meme. I think I actually have a point that I don't think we've ever treaded on, and that's not sarcastic. So, like, Padme has, like, these bodyguards, right? These handmaidens that are specifically built to be bodyguards, and in this movie they give their life for her, right?
Specifically built.
Like, their job is that.
No, I know. It's just that was the most interesting phrasing I think I've ever heard.
And in Phantom Menace, she also has, in many cases, the same bodyguards.
Okay.
So, how old were those bodyguards when they were serving as body doubles for the 14-year-old queen?
Probably like 14.
So they were potentially putting themselves in danger to die so that the queen didn't die at 14.
I mean, we're also talking about an entire planet that elected a 14-year-old.
Yes, I understand that fact. It just really struck me this time how fucking cold-hearted a decision would be if you're like, all of these 14-year-olds look like our 14-year-old leader. Let's throw them at her, and if anybody tries to kill her, another child will die.
It's a really dark fucking like skit that just played out in my head, but like I'm just like,
oh no,
picturing like a family like looking at their kids playing or whatever, and like dad's eyes narrowing, and he's like, oh shit. And I've been like, whoa, what's going on? It's like, you ever notice she kind of looks like the queen? We gotta hide her.
We need to get off planet.
Hide her.
We need to get off. We need to get off the planet, Bob. Bob, pack your things. We need to get off planet.
And for how like peaceful the Naboo are supposed to be, they sure do throw a lot of security behind the royalty, which like I get, but like
I get that perspective. There's nothing wrong with that. It's specifically the children that it's like, what's wrong here?
Like, how long has the Naboo people been electing minors to run their state of government?
I don't know, but Palpatine is from Naboo, and I think that's all you really need to say. That is a fantastic question.
That is a fantastic question.
Do you think, what's the history of Naboo?
Oh, God.
Because it really does feel like we're settling North America to me. Like, the Gungans and the Naboo come together, but how many, How many atrocities are we not talking about when they come together? Like, how many terrible things happen?
Well,
and how
it's
many years
also,
in the future? How many years in the future do they commit another atrocity against the Gungans?
It's also kind of strange that they have an elected queen.
Well, yeah, but that one never bothered me because a couple of things went differently, and the UK would have an elected queen right now. Like, that was on the table when the monarchy was reduced from state, of just being like, all right, well, do we get rid of the royal families or do we vote them in, or no, a prime minister? That was so that there wasn't civil war and so on and so forth.
But at that point, are they even a queen?
No, it's just a title.
That's the thing. Like, what? That's.
It's like, what's the difference?
It's like, my term as queen is ending. It's like, no, that's not how queens work, man. Like, if Liz is any, example, you're queen until you die, outliving your children, or at least screwing them out of being able to rule, which, I mean, good for her.
Much like Ewan McGregor, she has a painting of herself.
Yeah, she has a painting of herself in the attic. It's, yeah.
No, I always viewed it the same way as, what's the difference between the average prime minister that's not from the UK and the president? It's like, it's just a title. Does the title mean something else, and it technically should? Yes.
I was gonna say, it's an oddly specific title to use.
That's the thing. Like, there's prime minister, president. Those are essentially interchangeable. Queen is such a specific, like, queen or king.
Well, yeah,
and
I know.
Elected they don't go together. Like, it doesn't.
I just keep thinking, like, we don't live that far from a world where that literally happened. So that one never bothered me. It's the 14-year-old part.
It's the 14-year-old.
Well, yes. I mean, but again, there's analogs of that in history too. I mean, that's, again, doesn't make it better.
Not of an elected official, though. Is
not
the thing.
A
group of people didn't get together and be like, all right, let's put a 12-year-old in charge. Like, no.
Hold on.
Well,
now I'm fascinated. Hold on. Is there like, for these elections, do they have to run? Is it like a presidential or prime minister election where they have to run for this? Was there a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old who was like, I'm going to go run for queen, and then she won?
And do their parents, like, are their legal guardians, like, the ones running for them?
Is this just advanced level of pageant moms?
Pageant queening?
Pageant queening?
Well, I'll write it if that's not
we're
the
on
name
to
of the
something.
episode.
We are on to something, I think. Hold on. Okay, now I gotta go to Wikipedia. Hold on.
The people of Naboo often elected young women believing that... Oh, God, this has been off to a bad start.
Oh, this is about to get weird.
Believing that they possessed a form of pure childlike wisdom
that
the adults lacked.
Oh, this did get weird.
Oh, golly gee willikers.
Theoretically, however, virtually anyone could be elected the new king or queen.
What?
How old is the new queen in Attack of the Clones?
What's that?
How old is the new queen in Attack of the Clones? Because she's still in office like 3 years later for Revenge of the Sith. And why
the
Queen Jamila?
And to be clear, like, Padme, like, at 16 was up for re-election, so I guess, like, technically she could have been queen until well into her adulthood, but 16-year-old Padme was like, I feel like it's my time to go and become a 16-year-old politician.
Yeah, they have 2-year terms, which is strange, but, like, not, like, totally out of the realm of...
Alright, now I feel like it's weird that they're called a queen and they have 2-year terms. I don't know why that's the thing that, like, is like, what?
Well, I don't know, just queen or king and the word term put together feels so weird.
Yeah.
Can we roll on right back to the parents do the child?
Yeah, that's really the route I want to get to here, because that's...
Is it like...
do the children choose to run? Is it like...
Are they, like, identified in schools as kids of being potential candidates?
Yeah, like, because, like, is it, like, are Naboo queens, like, the equivalent of, like, child actors? Like, what do former Naboo queens go on to do later?
Is it, like, debate club in schools? Is that...
Naboo monarchs adopted new identities when they began to campaign for the position, campaigning or changing at least their last name.
Well,
Wait,
yeah,
so what's
Amidala.
Padme's...
We know for a fact that Amidala isn't Padme's family name because the deleted scenes they had she went to her family in deleted scenes and they had a different last name.
Don't speak for all of us because I didn't know this information. What are you talking about?
I brought it up on the podcast. There's a huge deleted...
We've done this 11 times.
there's a huge deleted scene, like full story arc, where Anakin and Padme, before they go off to the beach house, go to stay for a night with Padme's family. So she, like, her sister is there and her parents are there, and Anakin gets to see Padme's room. They get to talk with Padme gets to talk with her parents, and her parents are like, "When are you gonna settle down and have kids?" And she's like, "I do way more important shit. I don't need to settle down and have kids. I'm 22." So it's like it's like a full like mini arc. And then it goes into her backstory a little bit too, which maybe the answer's in that, but I can't remember.
Padme Naberi.
Naberi sounds right.
Yeah. Naberi.
But yeah, that was several scenes that were cut out of this movie because it was long. Because I remember there's a scene where, first of all, the dinner scene that happens there is very, very, very like Padme getting made fun of by her entire family, including Anakin, because they're trying to push them together. And then a scene in her room where she's kind of detailing what she did from being queen and then becoming a politician.
Padme's family was just the cringiest at some points.
Are you about... Go ahead, say it.
No, I mean, I can't really say it because it's literally the same exact scene, so.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, so this fucking book.
Well, it was this fucking book, but
yeah.
you pretty much laid out the same exact scene, so. You saved yourself from it, Jay.
Yeah, in an alternate cut of this movie, there was what? What'd you find?
I'm just going through Padme's Wikipedia, and some of this gets rough.
Does it?
Going through early life, and it's in her youth, she volunteered for the refugee relief movement, like her father had before her, and journeyed to Shaba B. Baran to aid in the relocation efforts of the natives. Sadly, many of these refugees died when they were unable to adapt to life on another world.
Jesus. Yeah, this is what's talked about in that deleted scene, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is what's talked about in that deleted scene, yeah. I remember it now. What'd you find?
Amidala's rise was meteoric. She had joined the apprentice legislature at age 8 and became a full apprentice legislator by age 11. These are just hilarious terms.
I still couldn't tie my shoes at 8 years old.
Oh my god.
I got in trouble at 8 years old once because I was hiding under a table trying to tie my shoes after gym class. And you're telling me she was an apprentice legislator?
Wait, did she kind of lead a rebellion against the former king?
What?
By 33 BBY, at the age of 13, Padme Naberi had become Princess of Theed and was extremely popular, rallying those opposed to the rule of King Ars Varuna.
Wait.
Is this legacy or is this canon?
This is Legends.
Wait.
This feels like some Palpatine shit. This feels like some Plagueis novel shit.
So, hold up.
That looks like exactly where this is from, actually. Jay,
yeah, there's a lot.
Once again, hilariously dead on.
I was not a fan of the Plagueis novel. I don't remember a lot of the Naboo stuff. But it does have a lot of time spent with Palpatine garnering power from being a noble on Naboo.
How are you elected as a princess too? How does that work?
I'm very confused.
If there was a rebellion against a monarch king, that also heavily explains why there's elected queens. Because if that was just recently toppled right before Phantom Menace, that explains a lot about why you have an elected queen.
No, I'm pretty sure the elections have been taking place for years.
Then I have no idea. I'm just watching Chris and Ben read Wikipedia right now.
It's fascinating. I'm learning so many things.
It's weird.
And all of this goes back to... So I guess we have found out that essentially the children are kind of groomed a little bit for these positions.
There's no way they could be in that position and not be groomed for it. I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's our answer. She became involved in a relationship with Ian Lago, the young son of Varuna's prime counselor, Kun Lago. Lago's father opposed the match, but at the end of its own accord, Varuna abdicated, and Amidala accepted to enter the race to succeed the king. So she entered at 13.
Well, yeah, this is
for the throne had initially been suggested to her parents, and subsequently discreetly backed by Senator Palpatine, who wished to see Varuna lose the election for his own reasons.
This is the same conversation that they have, Anakin and Padme have, in their little picnic,
the retreat.
Well, what
thing.
the fuck,
yeah.
Wikipedia? This raises more questions than answers. Though prodigiously talented, Amidala at 14 years old was still not the youngest queen of Naboo to ever be elected. Okay, so who the fuck was the youngest queen? Okay, now I'm in the monarchs of Naboo Wikipedia page.
Who the fuck? Was it like I can't remember the name of the fucking toddler Rugrats character that's a little older than the babies. Was that like the age? Like at that point you're starting to push like toddler status.
Apollona was the youngest elected Naboo queen, elected at the age of 12.
Oh yeah, that's a whole ass child. Wow.
That's a whole ass. I mean, 14 is also a whole ass child.
And she was assassinated by the Galactic Empire.
Jesus Christ.
This was during Order 66.
Yep, because she was serving for the Clone Wars.
So the queen in oh wait, no.
She was harboring Jedi fugitives of Order 66 on Naboo. So it was after, it seems like.
Is that in Legends though? Because
in 18 BBY. That am I in Legends or am I in canon?
She is both Legends and canon.
Okay. No, I'm saying, was that specific lore Legends or canon? Because I know that there's lore from the Vader comics about her as well.
That's Legends.
Yeah, canon. It doesn't actually look like. Yeah, there's no real info on. Okay, it looks like she was not assassinated in canon anymore.
She did attend Padme's funeral, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see her in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Because I remember there being a little bit of lore about her in the Vader comics when he's hanging out with the handmaidens.
I think I'm actually just learning for the first time. I probably knew this now because it's in her article. It says, she did not believe the official story of Amidala's demise, which claimed that rogue Jedi had assassinated the senator.
Well, yeah,
I feel like I knew that information at some point, but I don't remember that currently.
There's a Vader. I read this about 6 months ago because I saw an out of context panel and I was like, that sounds interesting. There's a Vader arc in the comics where he runs into one of Padme's handmaidens.
Handmaidens, yeah.
And they kind of work together to quote unquote discover the actual demise of Padme, and they work together a while, and then they end up hooking up with other handmaidens, and then, obviously it goes very, very south because they weren't going to work with Vader very long, and I can't remember, that might be the first time that Vader is given a hint that maybe he had some kids, because he runs into the room. It goes back to the same place where Padme gave birth, but most of the video records were destroyed, so they couldn't really trace it, but I think I remember Vader knowing that there was at least a pregnancy delivery aiding droid there. That is one thing that he knew. So, but I didn't read the rest of the comic run. I was just interested in that.
Even more reason that I'm hoping they do this Vader series that Hayden Christensen's desperately pushing for.
I'm surprised that
Hayden retread some of this stuff.
Do you think that Hayden Christensen's just in it for the lightsaber duels? Because there's not a lot of him like solo acting.
I don't know, man. I know he's not in the suit all the time, but I think I know as jaded as we are as Star Wars, it might be hard to think about it this way. But I mean, how cool's it gotta fucking be
to be in a Darth Vader suit?
In the Vader suit and like get to play, because like he got to play Anakin, but he didn't get to play Vader proper, you know. Like
he has repeatedly said that his favorite moment on set recording the prequels was walking out and seeing people react with when he walked out as Vader in Revenge of the Sith. Ben, I need you to Google something for me because I've been saying this is the case for years and years and years, but I don't know if it's actually true. Did a man named Seamus fill in the Darth Vader suit in Rogue One? Because he was in the running as one of the last three.
Don't believe so, unfortunately.
He was in the running as he's an Irish guy. He was an Irish wrestler. Because I remember he was in the running of 2 or 3 people to be Vader in the suit in Rogue One. I almost regret asking this because it's going to ruin my timeline. But
Spencer Wilding and Daniel Napros.
There you go.
That makes me so sad. There's just something really funny about that white paley Irishman being inside the Darth Vader suit.
Well, I mean,
the
original
guy that ended up playing him was a Welsh guy.
That's true.
In the original episode 4, when they did the Jabba scene that was deleted, then later undeleted, they had a fucking a guy with a thick Scottish accent doing Jabba the Hutt. It must be an odd feeling of power to be wearing the costume of
oh yeah,
probably the most iconic cinema villain in history.
It's Ewan McGregor had even said in some of the interviews they did before Kenobi came out. I mean, it was fucking wild seeing you coming at me almost 7 feet tall. He was it was legitimately terrifying watching you come towards me in that full getup, you know.
From both Revenge of the Sith and Kenobi, it seems like Hayden Christensen is just having fun jump scaring people on set, because there's multiple stories of people being he walked up behind me and I looked back and jumped back when I saw Vader.
I mean, to be fair, I'd probably do the same thing.
I'd probably do the same thing, yeah.
Because that shit would just be fucking funny. Because it's weird. The Vader suit is one of those things where it's I don't feel like being around it gets you used to it. Because it manages to pull off just this. The suit does what it's supposed to do. Not even that. Yeah. I mean, just aesthetically, it is one of the most threatening looking things I think most people will ever see in a real practical.
And it's one of the few threatening things that has a person in the suit and isn't like
an animatronic or something.
I guess I can't imagine anybody's been legitimately horrified being on set with Freddy Krueger, because so much of that movement is in the movie he's horrifying, but I don't see it would jump to set like that. Maybe
also,
Jason.
I mean, Robert Englund is notoriously just a great dude. So
yeah.
Oh really?
I love Robert Englund. So
how many suits like that are? I guess Jason. I guess. Michael Voorhees. Michael Myers, yeah, I don't know why I said Voorhees, that's Jason's last name. That kind of stuff, but it's all horror movie stuff. And Vader
somehow... Mike Myers, I feel like this might just be because
Michael Myers, please, not Mike Myers. That's very different.
And even him, I don't get I don't see as bad of a reaction coming out of.
I had one former friend who I'm pretty sure would have shit their pants.
And I am everyone has their favorite slasher movie. I love the Halloween series, but Michael Myers just isn't that scary.
Jason X is the greatest movie ever made, and you can't convince me otherwise.
I still haven't seen Jason X yet. Jason.
Freddy
No,
versus
no, no.
Jason.
Jason X.
It's the best bad movie ever made.
You know what?
Jason X is the best bad movie ever made. I will die on this hill.
I have a wearable costume that I think might one up Vader.
Hey, can we do a Halloween episode where we just watch Jason X?
Yes.
Maybe that'll be like a hey, if you're a part of our Discord, which you can join, you get this Halloween episode where we watch Jason X.
But I do have one costume that I think might be more terrifying than Vader. And that would have to be the xenomorph from Aliens.
Yeah, I don't think I would be intimidated by someone walking around in that though, because it's so obviously like.
I guess like it's that cheesy,
I feel like
kind of Hollywood.
No, like it's
I feel like that looks silly as hell in real life.
Yeah, in real life, it's
Yeah.
it's horrifying.
Like when you're on set, I feel like that looks silly as hell. And she's like, "Hey Dave, how's it going?"
I'm looking at other notes that I had, and it's just kind of like I don't want to talk about any of these.
I don't want to talk about this movie. Come on.
Like I have a note here that's like, was Jar Jar able to determine that Padme was happier than she'd been in a long time, off of a 1-minute interaction built off the back of an assassination attempt that killed a dear friend of her? Like, how is he able to discern that? But that would require me to talk about a very bad scene for more than like 5 seconds.
But also, they've been working together for like since episode 1, so.
Yeah, but this is like legitimately.
This is a weird moment for him to make that assumption.
And it's an assumption that literally he's only seen for 3 minutes, and 2.5 of those minutes was talking about an assassination attempt on her life and one that was on a friend of hers life that succeeded. Like, how is he supposed to determine that based off 3 minutes?
I mean, Jar Jar is also famously not the most intelligent person.
Yeah, again,
which is just, I mean, him making it into the Senate or whatever the hell he was really is just a great commentary on politics in general.
I mean, I just assume Palpatine was responsible for that. Like, we know Palpatine's responsible for him doing what he did in this movie, but I just assume that he convinced Padme into having Jar Jar.
God, it's still pissing me off.
Because it could have been any other Gungan. It could have been any other Gungan than the one that put his fucking face in between 2 fucking pod race engines. Like,
well, you would think it would be Boss Nass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It should have been like justice for Boss Nass.
When is his term up? Like, that's a good. That's
Jar Jar's.
No, Boss Nass's. Like,
you think Boss Nass was elected?
I don't know. Obviously, he's
immediately going.
Obviously, he's too attractive to be a. I don't know where I was going with that. An elected official, a king. I don't know.
The official title of the Gungan leadership is boss.
This entire species is so fucking bad.
Title exists outside of Gungan society as well.
No,
really. Shit. Is there any more on Legends? Because canon only has like 2, but there's like almost no information on this.
That's shocking. I'm so shocked by this information.
This does seem like the kind of thing Wikipedia famous breast article havers would write down in an article, yeah.
Well, I also feel like it's one of those oddly specific Star Wars things, because it's been in a movie, so like you'd think there'd be like a fucking essay on it. Hold on, what? In Legends, it says boss was also the rank of the reborn.
What
the fuck does this mean?
Is this like a kind of like a Buddhist leadership?
The reborn were a deadly force of dark Jedi?
What?
They just happened to use the same word for their leadership?
Wait.
Whoa, hold on.
Isn't that from the Jedi Outcast series?
Yes, it was. It was.
There's my useless information for the day.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep. There's my useless information that's been swirling around for a decade and a half.
What's going on right now?
this tribe of proto-Sith happened
Yeah.
to use the same word for their leadership as the Gungans.
Oh yeah.
You know, the really niche term to describe leadership, the word boss.
There's more about the Reborn in the article for boss than there is about the Gungans.
I mean, I would also rather talk about the Reborn than I would Gungans.
Yeah, I don't know if they're elected, if they're fucking just, trial by combat or whatever, but
I would love to see Boss Nass in trial by combat.
Well, on the depressing note of Gungans, I feel today's episode coming to a screeching halt. Thank you for listening to the horrors of the Naboo justice system, of the Naboo government structure, which I will now be thinking about for the rest of the night, and I hope you have the same reaction, because now I have to live with this. I'm definitely not playing Knights of the Old Republic.
my god.
What?
There's an entire article that is just a list of the places in Star Wars that the phrase boss is used.
Mother of God.
Okay, here.
Hey, listen. Wikipedia editors and writers and people who run Wikipedia, you're doing a great service, but I need y'all to touch some grass. Just any amount of grass, please.
Boss Nass Galactic Cleaning Service.
This has been Star Wars. Okay, no, I gotta let you. You've piqued me. We have to do this. Oh my god.
It's a cleaning business that Jar Jar Binks worked for around 0 BBY. A company logo featured an image of Gungan boss Ruger Nass.
Then
what?
The fucking Boom to Gasser line. This is what it refers to.
Well, no, because it's from Lego Star Wars.
Why didn't you lead with that? Because then I wouldn't have cared about this.
Because I didn't realize it until I got to the end of the article.
This has been Star Wars every week forever. Good night. Then crashed into a boss's head livered and vanished. That line haunts me.
If you enjoyed that episode, why not like and subscribe? Also, share it with a couple friends. Bring them into this hellscape that we've done to ourselves. You can catch brand new episodes every single Wednesday on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, pretty much every other platform you get your podcasts on. If you'd like to extend the suffering, you can catch us over on twitter.com at SWEWF. We post direct links to brand new episodes every week as soon as we upload them, and you can catch the occasional other dumb Star Wars take, and who wouldn't want that? Catch you guys later.